Final hour overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jonas Siegel. We got Jeff Saturday coming up here in a moment. The comparing and contrasting of Lamar Jackson with other great quarterbacks of the past is something that is happening online, and I just saw this, NFL on CBS tweeting out the comparison between Lamar and Peyton Manning early in his career. Jeff Saturday would know Peyton Manning better than anybody. Well, the comparisons are interesting, Jonas. First 7 seasons in the NFL. Peyton Manning, 3-5 in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, 3-5 in the playoffs. Peyton Manning, multiple-time MVP. Lamar Jackson, multiple-time MVP. Peyton, no Super Bowl appearances. Lamar, no Super Bowl appearances.
And it's very similar.
Very similar arc.
Brady, Mahomes.
It's the same thing. You're battling with
those Colts teams didn't have great defenses. Like, there were more. I don't know.
Yeah, but they had some they had
really
great
good
Marvin
balance.
Harrison and Edgerrin James.
Yeah, all right.
Like you had some
Wayne later. Yeah, I guess that's later. But yeah.
Pretty good teams, man. And the point was, you just at some point you believe Peyton Manning would break through. I think Lamar probably deserves the same.
All right. Well, let me ask
idea.
you guys, Jeff. Over under 0.5 Super Bowls for Lamar Jackson.
I'm going to say under just because sometimes there's guys that just don't win it. Like, there's great quarterbacks that don't win Super Bowls, man. Should they lose the title? Great. If they don't win a quarterback, that's not for me to decide. But when you see the performance like that, like, it wasn't even – I don't even think it was really close, to be honest with you. Like, it's a big separation from, like, him running around and making things happen during the regular season. There's a big drop-off, and it's concerning. I would be concerned about it.
Yeah, I think you have to be that his play dips in the playoffs. I mean, it's just a fact. Are you saying 0.5 wins or appearances?
Wins.
I'm going to bet on this guy in the Ravens and John Harbaugh. I'll say over, but because I'm sure, again,
it's just like the AFC has so many good quarterbacks. So you got Burrow, you got Allen, you got
you got Mahomes,
of course.
Yeah.
What can I think of? Chargers.
Justin Herbert. Herbert it does not deserve to be in that category.
I know, but
not even close.
His
man.
playoff performances are horrendous.
He hasn't won a playoff game.
Exactly. I think he's only
coach.
played 2 of them, but
exactly.
I know, Jim. I got you. Harbaugh's good. They're going to make the playoffs a fair amount. Herbert maybe deserves similar benefit of the doubt, not quite.
Okay,
to the same extent, though.
Let's put Mahomes aside. Which of those quarterbacks wins the most Super Bowls? Allen, Burrow, Jackson.
Oh, that's a great question.
I would take Burrow.
I don't trust their organization, though. Yeah. That's my issue. I don't trust Cincinnati. I don't trust their owner. Like, Jamar Chase still hasn't signed yet.
Yeah, fair. And
like, you got to figure that out,
man.
Right? Yeah, T. Higgins, exactly. Like, they've got to figure out how they're building around Burrow and what are they going to do on the defensive side of the ball. That defense is brutal. Like, it's impossible to see the Bills winning because they just never have. But I think I got to go with Buffalo.
Okay.
I'd go with Allen. Like, Allen makes the playoffs every single year. I get Lamar does. Joe Burrow doesn't. Like, Burrow made the play. He went to the Super Bowl that one time.
Dude, I thought that guy was going to be raking him in.
Yeah, I hear you, man. But that's a great question. Like, because they're connected to their teams. They're never going anywhere. Mm-hmm. They're not going to pull a LeBron and chase a ring somewhere else. Burrow's going to likely retire a Bengal, likely. Allen, the same thing in Buffalo. Lamar, the same thing in Baltimore. If they move, it's like mid-30s, and for whatever reason they decide to leave, or they get pushed out because maybe their play falls off. Yeah, it could be an Aaron Rodgers scenario. But throughout their primes, they're going to be with those respective teams. Every incredible NFL playoff moment on TSN is powered by Bud Light, a refreshing taste that's easy to enjoy. Tune in game day for pulse-pounding action. Again, we got 2 big games on Sunday. Cannot wait for it. And to chat about it, we're joined now by Super Bowl champ, ESPN NFL analyst. Here's Jeff Saturday. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing fantastic. How you guys doing?
We're doing very, very well. We're hyped, obviously, for this weekend. And why don't we ask you the question that we were just throwing around? Taking Mahomes out of it, if you look at Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, of those 3, who do you think is most likely to win the most Super Bowls, or who do you think will win the most Super Bowls throughout their career?
Oh my gosh, that is an intense question. Let me see. Ooh, I mean, so Allen is kind of in that phase now where he's kind of learning how to manage the games. And usually you see teams when they start to do that, get a little further, and he's not trying to press the envelope every time. And I would say, like with McDermott, like the stability of that organization and the stability of Baltimore would give me more. I'd probably lean one of those two ways than the Burrow way, just because you just don't. The organization in Cincy just has not been as. I guess as Mike, Brian hasn't been. He didn't spend a ton. Mm-hmm. It's not kind of based on the same thing, so that it goes up and down more of a roller coaster than those other two. So I like where Buffalo's sitting, and I like where Baltimore is. I think both of those teams are poised for some special things in these next few years.
Jeff, what did you see from Lamar in Buffalo? Like we were talking, just breaking down, there was the pass, there was the fumble. But as far as his play, I don't think it was superior by any stretch. What did you make of it?
I thought he played extremely well in the second half, dang near perfect. I thought the first half, it really set him back, right? I know the interception didn't change points, but they had scored. I think they scored on every drive that they didn't turn it over. So, you're costing yourself some kind of points there. And then the scramble fumble, I thought was particularly painful, and Buffalo fully took advantage. And the truth is that, we give these guys, all the credit in the world, and they're in the MVP conversations, and they should be, right? They've earned that ability. Well, if that's the case, then you can't. You have to be critical when they make mistakes. And I thought those were two massive errors. And just one of those things where you can't have them in those games. And I think that's kind of what I was alluding to with Josh. He didn't try to press in that game. That he protected the ball and allowed the game to kind of come to him. Whereas I felt like Lamar kind of pressed it early, and it ended up costing them. And here's the other thing. I said this morning on Get Up. Even if Andrews catches it and they tie, Josh Allen's still getting the ball back. And I think there was 90 seconds or maybe even more. Whatever it was, the game's not over. So to act like, hey, this thing just all of a sudden was going to be the Ravens game, I don't believe that either. I mean, I would say that to count Josh Allen and that offense, out, I wouldn't have done it. So, I think that game's still not over. And unfortunately, he did drop it. But that game, the way it played out, I thought Josh Allen, I thought that offensive line impressed me. Moving the ball, running the ball as well as they did. That's a statement, and I don't care what anybody says. You win in the playoffs because of the trenches. I won a Super Bowl and played for another one. I'm just letting you know, when the offensive line, the running games I don't care how good your quarterback is, it makes everybody play better. Your defense plays better, your quarterback plays better, receivers play better, and right now Buffalo's riding a hot streak on that offensive line.
With Jeff Saturday, and the way we ended up getting into that conversation, comparing Lamar with these other quarterbacks, was we referenced the comparing and the contrasting that's going on between Lamar Jackson through 7 years in the league and your former teammate Peyton Manning through 7 seasons in the NFL, where they're both 3-5 in the playoffs, both multi-time MVPs. Neither of them had made a Super Bowl. And as you referenced, Peyton went on to play in 4 Super Bowls and won 2 of them. Do you see the similarities in the arc of Lamar Jackson, and if so, in which way? And if not, in which way? Comparing Lamar through 7 seasons to Peyton Manning through 7 seasons.
I do see it very similar. In Peyton started. I think he still has the record for the most interceptions in the NFL for his rookie year. So they both. Peyton started and struggled, and then obviously next year we were 13-3, so it turned. But the playoffs is where it would get us. Now, similar to what's going on with Lamar, we lost to the Patriots, I think, 2 or 3 times in those playoffs in that early run where they were winning Super Bowls, and we lost one AFC Championship game. So that's why I compare those two. I think their careers – and the reality is, whether Lamar gets there soon, he's going to have to beat Josh in the playoffs. They're going to have to beat Mahomes in the playoffs because the Chiefs are going to retool. The Baltimore's going to have to retool. The Bills are going to retool. These are two good teams, two good of teams, and their front office are too stable to think that these teams are going to go through like droughts and ruts. That's the issue. Is there's no easy way to get there. And so, for Peyton, like you said, he made 4, but he had to beat Brady in the AFC Championship game 3 times to get to 4 of them. That's, so you got to go do it. And that's where Lamar has come up short. And unfortunately, all gets laid on the quarterback's feet. It's the team as well. But we evaluate quarterbacks by those things and by those metrics. And right now, Mahomes is sitting on King's Hill, waiting for somebody to knock him off the perch.
Well, Jeff, looking ahead to the weekend, which unit do you think will be more important, the Chiefs' defense or the Chiefs' offense?
Oh, I think the Chiefs' offense is going to have to play. I think that I think it goes under discussed. The Bills' defense put it on the Chiefs the last time y'all played. I think they held Mahomes to under 200 yards throwing and held him well under 100 yards rushing. And so the Chiefs are going to have to be able to create some type of rhythm offensively, and whether that's Pacheco or Hunt or checks down to kill, they're going to have to be able to. They have been incredible on third down this season, and so it's gone to help them. But that's a risky way of living when you're playing a Josh Allen run, offense on the other side. So I think the Chiefs' offense is going to have to give some help. It can't be. I just don't see them winning, 13-10. I think the Bills are going to score 20 plus points. I think that's going to have to happen for the Chiefs as well. So you can see Chris Jones having to have a massive day to slow down Josh Allen then. But I think the Chiefs offense is going to have to play one of their best games, if not their best game, to get this win.
With Jeff Saturday, as for the NFC, there's a lot of discussion around Jalen Hurts and whether or not he's playing at 100% and whether or not he's playing well enough, whether or not they need more from him to actually win a Super Bowl. Meanwhile, they're sitting there at home in the NFC Championship game, and if you're in Philly, you got to be feeling pretty good, right? Like, can they? I guess what I'm asking you, Jeff, is like if Jalen Hurts just plays the way he's been consistently playing all year, in your opinion, is that enough for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl?
It is. I said this today. I get it's frustrating at times because we're so quarterback centric in our discussion of everything, but you're talking about one of the top 3 defenses in the league. You're talking about one of the, if not one of the best offensive lines in the league. You're talking about a 2,000-yard rusher that took the foot off the gas in a number of games. Otherwise, he walks away with the rushing title. And to pretend like it's going to be easy for anybody, I don't care who they play, to just, they're going to take the run game away. Like, that's so much easier said than done. And you think about the unexpected explosive play that comes from Saquon Barkley in the run game. That's why I keep trying to tell everybody, that's why people throw the football. They throw the football for the potential of the explosive play. Very few teams are patient enough to throw checkdowns all day, right? Like Drew Brees did a fantastic job of being super patient quarterback. Most quarterbacks aren't that patient. The Eagles are getting that production from Saquon and that offensive line. And so when I look at this, absolutely they can win it. Now, are they going to? Who knows, right? You got to go play the game. Could the Commanders beat them this week? Sure. I mean, they beat them a few weeks ago when Hurts went down. But if you're going to commit all your assets to stopping the run, I think A.J. Brown and Smith and Goddard give you a lot of pause to want to go do that as well, right? Because all you got to do is put the ball in any of those hands, and they could house it. And so I think Jalen Hurts is doing exactly what the Eagles want, which is a low-risk, high-reward offense. Let the defense stay fresh and make teams chase you. And it has worked. And unfortunately, everybody wants to criticize. I'm not into the criticism, man. If it's a, quote, weakness, every team has them. Mm-hmm. Avoid yours and emphasize the things you do great. That's what every team. There ain't been a perfect team. Y'all, we know it, right? So this is what they do. This is their formula, and they've executed it extremely well this season.
Well, and you look at the other side of it in Washington, Dan Quinn has just put forth this game plan and this belief where they're aggressive, and you see what they did against Detroit and Tampa. I have no reason to believe that's going to stop. If anything, maybe they have to be even more aggressive. Yet you look at Jaden Daniels and the way he's playing, it kind of has a college vibe to it, Jeff. I don't know if you see it that way, but like tons of RPOs, tons of options, and he's just reading the defense so well right now that I can understand why Dan Quinn puts so much faith in him. And, I mean, this will be the biggest challenge of it all, but if Jaden Daniels finds a way to win this, he's a game away from the Super Bowl as a rookie. Like, how do we put that into perspective?
No, it's unbelievable. And like you said, he's not being hidden, right? He's not being hidden from he is the reason why they are where they are. And it's been exceptional. Kingsbury's done a great job, their offensive coordinator, of simplifying the offense, but still leaving him with enough answers that it's not the same each and every time, right? They do a ton of like slide protection where they're kind of grouping offensive linemen. They're not putting a bunch of guys on islands. They do a good job of that. And what that does for a quarterback is exactly where your problem is going to be. Oftentimes when you have multiple protections, that the quarterback has to know where he's hot and who's quote free, right, on the defense, because you can't block them all. So it's okay. Who, if somebody comes, would be the free guy? Well, if coverage starts to change and guys start to move over, all of that can kind of get blurred. But they do a really good job of keeping it simple and straightforward. And then Jaden Daniels he makes the right decision. He does not get flustered. He sees where it's coming from. He can beat you with his legs or his arm. And the receivers are making plays down the field, whether it's McLaurin, whether it's Brown. Like he is putting the ball where it needs to be, and it has been an exceptional effort by all of those guys, and they play hard for each other, man. I mean, you can see it. They love the group loves each other, and they got faith to believe it. Obviously, they beat the Eagles a couple of weeks ago, so this is one that could go either way. I think both these games are pick-ems, which makes it so much fun for me to analyze. But I love the matchup, and I love what DQ has done there for the Commanders for sure.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Enjoy the games. We only got 3 left this season, Jeff. Take advantage while we can, man. Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great one. Thanks so much.
There's Jeff Saturday, ESPN NFL analyst, Super Bowl champ. The college football season came to an end last night. You guys see after the game the
lady in the golf cart?
Yeah, the woman driving the cart with Ryan Day on it, crashing into the wall. Look at this, Jonas. Like, what is happening here? There's a lot of – that's just – you can't accelerate that fast, that quickly.
I get it. It's a bad turn in acceleration, but it didn't seem like enough to totally write off the golf cart. Do you know what I mean? Like, there should have been a quick reverse and a get out of jail and nothing to see here.
Yeah, it is.
I thought the result didn't quite match the act. Like, give the lady a break.
Right. And listen, she's lucky she's driving the winning team around. Dude, if that's Notre Dame, they're flipping that.
You got
golf
a guy
cart
with steam coming out of his ears, and he's wheeling up against the wall. Like, you just want to.
You would be losing your mind. And Marcus Freeman, the head coach, is on that. He's looking at her like, "Are you insane? I'm going to have you arrested."
Well, do you know who was at the game, the Leaf game last night? Was Mike Myers?
Yeah, that's right.
All I can think about is that from the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, it was an Austin Powers type
when he
of
gets
thing.
stuck in the tunnel.
But at least he can move. right? Because O brings up a good point. Like it was damaged to the point where they didn't even try to reverse it.
It was a write-off. The golf cart was a write-off. They were going 3 kilometers per hour, and it was just, I can squeeze it in there, and she couldn't make the turn. It was like, it's not like she went down a hill and there was a garage closing and she tried to risk it all. Like, it was, I don't understand how that golf cart didn't turn backwards. Like, just reverse and get out.
A little bit surprised by that, but as a veteran of golf cart driving like you are and like I am, you do have to know you can't floor it in tight spaces.
Dude, you know how careful I am on a wet, like, downhill fairway?
Yes.
I'm not spinning around in a golf cart. I'm not going in a ditch. I'm not doing anything weird, man.
Dude, you talk about your stomach, like, sinking. When you lose control of a cart when you're going down a hill or something, it is terrifying.
Look at this guy.
Look at Mike Myers. What was he doing in town last night? Because he's decked out
He's
in
like
a
the
Matthews
biggest Leafs
jersey.
fan, but I can't remember the last time I saw him at a game.
Right. He's generally down in New York. Like, if they play the Islanders, I find he goes to those games.
Dude, there wasn't many at the Islanders game last night, dude.
No. See, they got a win, too, but I noticed that it was pretty empty there.
Rumblings of players possibly looking around saying, dude, there's no one in here.
Mm-hmm. I can't blame them necessarily. The Islanders have been a pretty big disappointment, and they're not that fun to watch play.
Dude, that's when it gets troublesome, though. Like, when you go out there and you're like, we're the New York Islanders, maybe they're just boring, and maybe they're no good, and maybe people just don't want to go watch them play. That's when you got problems if you're an owner.
Yeah, that's a marketing conundrum. That's a big issue.
And that's when the GM starts to...
likely gets in trouble, man. And Lou Lamoriello's got to explain it. Lou's been there a long time now.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Kyle Dubas has got to explain it down in Pittsburgh, man. These former GMs up here in Toronto, it's not looking so great.
Well, the thing is, like, my dad used to do pretty big business. When you're talking about $100 million worth of mistakes, people get fired for that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how do you explain it and then just say, see this over here, don't worry about that. Just forgive me and let's move on. It doesn't happen in business. Like, somebody screws up in business worth that much money, way less. You're canned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good reminder for us to talk about the Jays like we were planning to.
Right. Well, I was going to say, that's what, like, the Miles Straw deal last week is a perfect example of that. If you're Rodgers, you're like, let me get this straight. We're going to pay this guy $12 million to not play, and we didn't get Sasaki.
What about Santander? It's like, we're going to stink, but we're just going to hand this guy over $100 million to appease the fans. What kind of business is that?
Well,
that's insane behavior.
But
dude.
then the other option is blow it up and go the opposite way.
I think that's the play.
Okay, then that means you should have traded Vladdy 2 months ago. You should have traded Bichette, and the front office had to be fired.
Because you're going to get there in a couple years.
You might.
Right?
Listen,
you don't have a farm system.
I said this last week about Santander, that it has Kendrys Morales vibes to it.
100%.
Very Kendrys Morales.
Low, big, slugger, and
switch hitter.
30, doesn't get on base a lot.
Right, and the window was closed, but they were like, we got to try. Let's bring him in here. There's still, Batista's back, and Edwin, I think, was still around. And
dude, you want to talk about a fireable offense? Like, going to management and saying, okay, we stink this year. Let's look ahead to our prospect pool. And if somebody blurted out, we have the worst in baseball, I'd say everybody out. That's insane to tell me that.
Do you want to know something? So I look up, MLB does the top prospects, top 100 prospects. The Jays had one. 94, I believe, was the one out of 100.
Yeah.
That ain't cutting
very
it.
concerning for a
is concerning.
bottom 10 team last year.
Yes.
No, that explains why this front office is doing what it's doing. You can argue that they shouldn't be allowed to.
Yes.
And I can understand that. But these are human beings in Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins that are fighting for their lives, and what they've done is clearly gone into ownership and convinced them, give us a shot here. Yes.
But it's been like 10 years.
No, I know that, Jonas.
11
but
years?
We're talking about going into 2025. For 25, they are saying, let me keep Vladdy, even if he's not signed, even if it's a one-year deal and he might walk, let me keep him. Same thing with Bichette. Give me some money to splash around. We're going to sign Santander, which they've done. They brought in Jeff Hoffman. They're going to try to get another bat. It sounds as if maybe, Jurickson Profar or...
Oh, my God. Yeah, but Hayes, let me
Profar had a good year last year in San Diego. Really good year.
This decision, like the idea of give me a chance, like if Ross and Mark said give us a chance to get out of this, do you think this was their pitch to ownership when they said, like, back when the season ended, like, this is what we're going to come up with to get out of this?
Great call. Yeah.
Well, like, what are you talking about? Or unless they said, look, we're going to make a pitch to get Soto, we're going to look to do this, Sasaki, whatever. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then they just go to them and say, we tried and we missed out. I guess. But I guarantee you when they're let us get out of this plan was not this.
Well, let's also be clear. If they went in there and said, I'm telling you I'm getting Juan Soto, that's fireable because you're delusional and it's a waste of time. So I can't believe for a second they went into Edward Rogers' office or house and said, we're going to get Soto.
I don't think anybody in their right mind and any organization would say that.
They were never getting Soto.
But they would have said that that's part of their plan.
Sure. They were never getting Ohtani either.
Well, yeah, exactly. In retrospect, clearly that was not going to happen. Yet they would argue we were second in line and we were in the room and he came down at Dunedin, which he did. And again, worth the pursuit. Where I think they get burned is they probably did say we think we can get Corbin Burns, and they didn't.
Max Fried, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, Fried moved pretty quickly. The Yankees grabbed him quickly and gave him a long-term deal, but possibly.
There's no sense of beating around the bush of naming all the guys, but I just guarantee you when their let us get out of this chat came up, it wasn't this plan.
No, probably not. And again, if they are kind of just trying to put some pieces together late to save themselves, that's unsettling. I understand that.
But that's probably what happened. They probably had a plan to get the bigger fish, didn't, and now it's like, well, we got to get someone.
Exactly.
Well, I think Santander.
It's $100 million. We got to get someone.
But he's been connected to the Jays the whole time. Like, if they signed him a month and a half ago, that would not have been surprising. Like, this isn't like...
No, but he's like clearly option number or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even... I think he may be option number one for the power bat they were looking for. Because they were not getting Juan Soto. Was not going to happen.
But it just doesn't feel like this is a long-term plan for success. You're going to sign a bunch of 30, 31, 32-year-olds. Like, there's a reason the Mets aren't re-signing Pete Alonso.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know what I mean? Like, why are the Astros suddenly like, you know what?
Same thing in Baltimore.
Move on from Alex Bregman. Same thing in Baltimore.
Like, we got a great system and young guys are coming. We're not going to commit our money.
They don't have anybody coming here.
That's the issue. The Jays have put themselves in that spot. It's total. I'm not arguing against any of that.
I know.
What I'm arguing is if I'm Ross Atkins and I am so desperate, I am begging for money.
But Jeff
is right. Going to spend it.
But Jeff is right. There should be a system being like, wait a second. Why are we spending $92 million?
That should have happened 3 months ago, though.
You're right.
But that's that ship has sailed.
Right.
It's over. Because Rogers also is a business, and they're looking at it saying, our PR is a disaster. We are the laughingstock of the league. Our fans hate everything about what we're doing, and we better start doing some stuff that are going to turn people in our direction. We got to start selling some tickets and some hype.
The PR has been a disaster for 2 years, and that just, like... If anybody in ownership was looking down on this and think that any of the fan base supports management, they're crazy.
They are crazy.
So that's when the change needed to happen and just say, it's been 10 years. Thanks for your time. We've got to put fresh ideas and go in a completely different direction. It sucks for the fan base, but that's what needed to happen.
It very well that may be true. I think you might be onto something there. I think it is. And listen, it may be very clear by the end of this season.
Then you're just pissing away another season.
And then you know what will happen? Then Guerrero just leaves, and suddenly you have all these 31-year-olds. It's like, what is this team?
And there's going to be a new front office, and they're going to come in, and everything's going to get wiped out, and they're going to implement a 5-year plan or whatever it is.
It's a teardown, and then you're going to look at, you're going to be like, what the hell's with this Santander contract?
Yeah. Yes. No, I know that, and the difference between this teardown and the one that happened in 2017 is Vladdy and Bichette aren't here.
Yes.
Like, that's the difference, is they're here, but they're veterans now, and they may leave as veterans, where in 17, when it became very clear the window had closed, it's over, and you've got to reset, it was easier to do so and easier to pitch it because you knew Vladdy was coming.
Yeah,
and
everybody climb on top of that idea. Vladdy and Bo's the future.
Right.
What is possibly going to happen if those two guys walk?
Well,
nothing in the farm system.
No, exactly. And even at that point, you had like Marcus Stroman and Aaron Sanchez. You had some arms you could look at. They don't have that.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a real conundrum.
Like, that's the play.
That was the play. It's no longer an option.
It's like, now, do you go into the season without either of those guys signed? Is that the?
Well, I think they have to sign Vladdy, because I think Vladdy can allow you still to have flexibility in whichever way you choose. Like, even if you need to reset and retool and load up on your farm system, and kind of reset your books. If you're signing him for 10 or 11 years, then you're committing to him being a very good player for the next 5 to 7 years.
But the best way to replenish your farm system is to trade him. Like, you look at what the Nationals got trading Soto, they're in a pretty good spot now.
I mean, some of those hit, some of them don't.
C.J. Abrams bats first, James Wood. Like,
I know you're giving us one example.
Right. Lots
there
of
are
them
other
don't work.
moves that get
right. Sure.
like monster superstars get dealt.
But it's like cool. You have Vlad Guerrero for a 75-win team for the next 5 years. It's like, well, what is that?
Well, listen, a lot of fans love Vladdy.
Okay.
Like, it is worth something in terms of having, like, from a marketing standpoint, there's value in that.
Is it worth?
Oh, you think the Oakland A's would have loved going to the ballpark the last couple of years and watching that garbage team and saying, "Wow, there's Vladdy out there. That's cool." Probably not.
They actually have a guy like that right now.
The extent of Vladdy?
Brent Rooker. Pretty good hitter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brent Rooker? I don't think he's in the same class as Vladimir Guerrero.
I don't go look. He hit more home runs than him last year, better OPS. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the buildup of Vladdy is the point. He's been here, he's been within the organization for a decade.
Yeah.
That baseball teardown, that's ugly stuff too, man.
Yes.
Like,
well, it's terrible. Watch what you wish for,
man. Yeah.
That's the problem. Is watch what you wish for, because.
But it could happen whether you want to or not, right? If they just have this old team, no prospects, like, it's going to happen.
Yep. That was last year.
That was last year, right? Exactly.
Yeah, last year was an example of that. All right, we sent Al's brother out into the city with a pair of Leaf tickets. You have to guess where he's hiding for your chance to win them. Are you guys ready for the second clue of the week?
Go for it.
AOD fans, happy Tuesday to you. I'm back for another clue to get you guys one step closer to finding out where is Al's brother. We're giving away those Leafs and Wild tickets on January 29th. Here is your next clue. It's a pretty popular spot. I'm one of 650,000 people that come to visit this place each year.
All right.
It's a CN Tower, dude.
It's got to be more than that, seeing the CN Tower, wouldn't it be?
What's the total?
650,000. I think the CN Tower would be in the millions.
Yeah.
I think. Tune in tomorrow for another clue. The first caller through on Friday with the correct location wins a pair of tickets to see the Leafs take on the Wild next Wednesday. Buy Now's Brothers brought to you by McAlpine Ford in Aurora. Our family, the Ford family, and you. Full details at tsn1050.ca. I guess it could be the CN Tower.
No, it's not. Doogie said that 2 million people a year visit the CN Tower.
Okay, yeah.
What about
Seems right.
the ROM?
Good job, Doogie. First fact you've got right in a month.
Attaboy, Doogie. You're on fire.
Yeah.
The ROM? Maybe. I hope more people go to the ROM. Although I haven't been to the ROM since I was
Isn't it closed?
No, the ROM's still kicking around.
Oh,
man.
the Science Center. Sorry, the Science Center. Dougie Fresh said, that's it. Stop it.
Yeah, we've had enough of that.
How does Doogie have all these facts?
The ROM, 1.3 million go to the ROM
correct.
every year? Okay.
1.3.
I would guess 1.1 million are student-aged children.
I went recently.
Oh, you've been to the ROM?
The first time since I was a kid.
Last time I went was on a school trip.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the ROM in 30 years.
There's some stuff in there.
Cool stuff
Let's
in there.
do a show. Let's do a show from
Want
the
to get
ROM.
down to the ROM? We could get to the ROM.
They can set us up at the ROM.
Right
have
under
like
the
a meet and
T-Rex?
greet. Yeah, right in the T-Rex.
Great part of the city, man. Right there in
is.
Yorkville, right? It's.
Yeah.
I think that would. Yeah, it's on the other side of Bloor,
Yeah.
but that counts. Okay. I'm trying to think of what this is. Casa Loma? Is it Casa Loma, Doogie? It might be. It might be Casa Loma.
650,000 go there? Really?
Man, they've got one of those escape room things at Casa Loma.
Oh, really? And 650,000 people want to go to it, dude?
on.
No way, man.
That game is elite, and the
you
escape
couldn't
room.
pay me to do an escape room.
You guys should do a show from an escape room of you
We
trying
gotta
to get out.
3 hours of us trying to get out. That'd be great. All right, best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, best bets powered by FanDuel later in the hour. Cooperstown announcing their newest inductees, and Ichiro is on his way to the Hall of Fame, on his way to Cooperstown.
That's well deserved.
Absolutely. That was a lock. Yet, I'm seeing Jeff Passan tweeting this out. There are 394 ballots that were sent in. So 394 voters, I guess, for Cooperstown this year. And 393 had Ichiro on their ballot.
So 4 people said no thanks.
Now, one person, only one person decided that Ichiro was not worthy of Cooperstown.
That same thing happened with Derek Jeter, man.
That's right. It's crazy. I believe there's only been one person ever that's been 100%. It was Mariano Rivera, which is wild when you think about it. He's a closer.
That's some stupid.
You're telling me it
voting
wasn't
thing,
100 on Ken Griffey Jr.?
It was not. Jeter had 99.7% of the votes. Ichiro 99.7%. Ken Griffey Jr. 99.3%. Tom Seaver 98.8%. Nolan Ryan 98%. 6 guys didn't vote for Nolan Ryan to go first ballot. And Cal Ripken Jr. had 8 voters not vote for him to get in. Like it's
8
just,
people said no to Cal Ripken.
Yeah.
Are their names exposed?
I don't know if that used to be. I
Do
don't
they have
believe
to be?
it
It's
used to be.
2025. You have to expose names. You have
you
to give a reason.
seen the Hockey Hall of Fame?
They don't expose anything.
They don't expose it. We don't know anything.
Yeah. I think in baseball maybe you can find out. I'm not. I don't remember. Look that up, dude. Yeah, I can't recall. Because baseball,
I think it should be all on the table, man.
I agree.
Like all on the table. You want like I want to know who said no to certain things and yes to certain things. Like that's just the way it should be.
Well, it's coming now with Ichiro. Like, so, and what happens now is someone will vote no just for the notoriety of it.
Well,
right. I'm the guy. Come talk to me, and I'll tell you why.
Well, isn't there a thing in baseball where the unanimous Hall of Fame thing is like only this guy can like?
Yeah, because no one had ever been unanimous. Like even like Babe Ruth wasn't
Like
unanimous.
if Babe Ruth can't be unanimous, it's
Yeah. That was always the belief that if you're not going to put, Willie Mays in like that, well, then you can't have this guy. And eventually, again, that's why it's just strange that Rivera's the guy. Obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question. But of all the players ever, a closer is the first guy to get every single vote? How does that make sense?
doesn't.
Anyway, so Ichiro's in. CC Sabathia is in as well.
Really?
Yeah, CC Sabathia in the Hall of Fame, Cooperstown. That's pretty. I mean, he was a great pitcher.
Very good.
But yeah, it looks like and Billy Wagner got in.
Wow.
Billy Wagner.
That stinky old lefty.
Yeah, Billy Wagner. So I guess it's Sabathia, Ichiro, and Billy Wagner into the Hall of Fame. There's your Cooperstown inductees.
Was Billy Wagner a closer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
For
closed.
Houston.
Yeah, he played in
And
St.
Philly.
Louis and Houston. He was there forever. He jumped around. He was in. Yeah, he was obviously a Hall of Famer. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to argue one way or the other on Billy Wagner, but Ichiro going in, that was certainly a lock. But yeah, we'll find out. I'll bet you by midnight tonight we find out who did not vote for him.
How are you going to find out, though?
Someone will reveal it. Someone will put their hand up and say it was me, and here's why, and here's my reasoning. Or they'll just say I forgot, like for whatever reason I didn't see his name on there.
I think it just brings, you got to answer for it, like denying a guy Hall of Fame or putting him or saying no. You got to give a reason for it.
Yeah.
And it stops people from being dummies, like holding personal grudges, like, oh, that guy treated me like garbage. It's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the Hall of Fame.
I think this is related. I think someone didn't have Matthews on their Hart ballot last year, which I just find
And that's a top 10, right?
5. You do 5.
So last year was
69 goals and was a Selke finalist.
I'm just trying to think of who else it would have been. It would have been Kucherov, McKinnon, McDavid.
Yeah. Very amazing, great candidate.
Incredible. Maybe Quinn Hughes. Maybe you'd put Quinn Hughes. He won the Norris.
I guess
he had
you
a
could make a
phenomenal
case.
season.
It's 69 goals, first time in 30 years.
Who was the 5th guy though that would knock Matthews out?
I don't know.
Pasternak had a really good year, didn't he?
No.
Did Pasternak have a great year last year?
Matthews finished 4th.
No, I understand that, but I'm thinking of if you
Who
don't
might have?
put him in the top 5, who would you possibly put ahead of Matthews last year? I don't know. Anyway, there you go, Cooperstown. Always love Cooperstown.
Have you been to Cooperstown?
I have, yeah.
Have you been, Jeff?
I have not and probably never will go there. It's some dump place in upstate New York.
It is in the middle of nowhere. There's no, you have to go to Cooperstown. There's
Kind
no.
of charming, right? It's it's
a
like a
cool
little
Unless
baseball
town.
town.
my daughters
Cool little town.
date somebody that ends up in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, I'll never go there.
There really is no, it's not en route to New
No.
York or
No, it's a
anything.
destination.
And I don't even consider it a guy's trip. Is there some
No.
butter golf courses around there where you can
No.
play golf, go check? No, it's...
But they should do that. That would actually be a great idea. Cooperstown Golf and Country Club. If you just had some top 100 track there where
yes,
people
just
can
put
go
one
play
in
it.
there. Yeah, go play golf. There's 36 holes, and you can go walk through Cooperstown, package deals, the whole nine. I'd think about it.
I would too. The Farmer's starting tomorrow. See, Justin Thomas, I guess, wrote some
weird one, man.
Yeah, he wrote some big letter to all the members of the PGA Tour that they have to do more in order to, supply entertainment for the viewers because the ratings are down again this year. And
yeah, you know what I would write back if I was Doug Mao? I would write back and say, Justin, that's great and everything, but guess what? The TV or the fans don't want to hear from us. So what on earth are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is about all you guys that want all the money and want to play a certain amount of events and who are in elite fields. It's on you guys. So thank you very much for the email, but it's not applicable to us.
Well, another counter is, hey, Justin, you haven't won anything in 2 years. Maybe win a tournament as opposed to Sepp Straka lapping you at the Amex.
He made the golf ratings. I love Sepp Straka. He doesn't wear the squares anymore, but the ratings went soft.
Yeah. Yeah, because, and that's, I was watching the Golf Channel the other day, and they referenced this, and it's an accurate point. In the States, like, no American has won on tour this year. It's only been 3, but Matsuyama, Taylor, and Sepp Straka. Like that, for Americans to tune in, you need Justin Thomas. You need Scheffler. You need Schauffele. You need
And you
Cantlay.
can't bank on Scotty every week like Tiger. It's like some of these guys got to step up. I don't know.
That's why, again,
golf's in a weird spot, Hayes. You got to admit that.
It's in a very weird spot. But a household name is Justin Thomas is a household name. Like, he's a big, big name, and he hasn't won in a couple of years. So
and throw his buddy Jordan Spieth right in there with him.
Exactly.
He's a massive name. TV camera loves him. The fans love him, and he just doesn't really do it out there anymore.
Well, he doesn't even play. Spieth hasn't played yet this year. Like,
he had hand surgery as well.
I guess he had surgery, yeah. And then Scheffler's out, and I don't think he's going to play next week at Pebble. Schauffele's out. I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah. I don't know. If you're a diehard golf fan, you'll watch the final group with Sepp Straka. I do. Jason Day, old Chuck Hoffman out there with his gray, shiny dress pants. I'll watch it and enjoy it. But there's other people who are casual fans. They're like, I don't like this leaderboard. I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
That's the problem they have.
Absolutely. 100%. It's a big problem. And Liv is a big part of that, too, because Rahm's not there anymore. Like, Rahm always used to dominate at Amex, and, like, he'd show up there.
When you go to Liv, like, if you want to take the money, you're literally disappearing from the golf world.
You're gone until the majors.
Yeah,
gone.
like, you don't ever see John Rahm or Dustin Johnson or Cam Smith. Like, you're off the face of the universe, man.
You're gone, man. You're gone.
Maybe Fox, picking up the rights might help it, but those guys are gonzo, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more or less. All right, we'll come back with our best bets. Powered by FanDuel. Raptors in action tonight with Orlando in town. And all of a sudden, you look at the NBA standings because a few of the teams, like at the bottom, have picked up a few wins recently. Most notably, like Utah, they've been winning a bit. New Orleans has won 3 in a row. Portland's starting to win some games. Charlotte's won 3 in a row. Raptors are now second last in the league. Like, I'm not saying that's an accomplishment, but based on records, they're second last. Based on points percentage, second last. So,
is there a capture the flag?
Like, the tank
conversation here?
Oh, it's working. Like, if you're planning on a tank, it's tanking.
Nice.
So don't get silly and try to win a game like the one tonight. Don't get silly. Best bets coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, today's best bets are powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I have a Brady Tkachuk parlay here. He has not scored a point in 7 games.
What?
That's what happens when you play in Florida, right? Nobody knows.
Brady Tkachuk.
Oh, Brady. I thought you said, okay, Matt.
No, Brady Tkachuk has gone 7 games, Jonas, without a point.
And they're winning.
Exactly. They're 5-2, I think, in that span. He gets a point tonight. Brady Tkachuk with a point tonight, parlayed with 3+ shots on net, paying plus money. I love this parlay. Back in New York, Larry Brooks waiting for him. Brooksy with his little report that the Rangers are chasing Brady Tkachuk.
Report?
That was his report, was it not? That the Rangers are
like dismissive of Larry Brooks. He's pretty.
Well, I mean, it was
like
his report.
GOAT status among hockey writers.
I understand that. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
Brooksy in there?
Not 100%. Huh?
He probably would not get 100%. But listen, it was one that bothered a lot of people in Ottawa. Yeah. And it was completely erroneous. It may have been accurate
don't
that the
know
Rangers.
that.
Well, it may have been accurate that they wanted Kachuk, but what's like? I'm reporting that the Leafs want Connor McDavid. Okay, awesome. You know, and like, what's the difference?
There's a difference.
Okay.
All right.
Today's best bets are powered by FanDuel. Live same-game parlays are now available for every NHL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19+, physically located in Ontario.
Great Michael Farber sent me a note and said there's an unbelievable golf course by Cooperstown. It's called Leatherstocking Golf and Country Club. 16th best U.S. public course.
Wow, dude. That's what we got to get on that. Road trip to Cooperstown.
Dude, we do a road and we do a show from inside the hall.
I love that idea. They'd be very welcoming.
The hall letting you guys in.
Leatherstocking. What kind of handle is that for a golf
weird
club?
Dude, it's a weird name for a golf course.
It is really strange. Put it on the list. Gets us to Cooperstown. We'll go play it. All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out today. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate it. Jonas Siegel for stepping in.
Thanks,
Great
fellas.
seeing you as always. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Jonas, see you Friday for your Vasilevsky take. R.I.P., brother. 4 p.m.
See you then.
We'll chat then.